Hey, what's up? You're watching InStyle, this guy, and I'm this guy. I'm Ethan Peck. March 2nd, 1986. Los Angeles, California, at Cedar Sinai, which is like 5 minutes from where we're filming this. My go-to coffee order, hot coffee black. A favorite food. I am a big fan of Korean barbecue. Whoa, these are great questions. First album I bought might have been like a Blink-182 album or Offspring. It might have even been Chumbawamba. My favorite book, I read For Whom the Bell Tolls probably 8 years ago, and that was one of the better literary experiences I've had, so let's go with that. Everything Bagel, yeah. I do not believe in astrology, but I think it's really interesting. It can provide nice perspective. That we're sensitive, water people or something, that's what I know. Great question. I think my mother, Francine Matarazzo, she's a painter. I guess she would be described as an abstract expressionist, and she is a major motivating force for me as an artist. I don't know, I would have to ask my friends. They would probably call it something like comedic, like, cause I'm like grew up in LA and like went to private school, they probably call it like 8 ounces of lead or something like doesn't make any sense or fit with me. I had a recurring dream as a child. This is probably gonna give away something that I'm gonna regret, maybe not. I was standing in a field and it's from my perspective and I'm looking at a geodesic dome and it's growing infinitely large and it was terrifying. And I had that dream as a young boy.
Do you still have it now?
I don't, but I feel like I was on a road trip a few years ago and I drove by what appeared to be the location of the dream. And so maybe it was or wasn't, or if it was something that had been pulled from my memory. There's a really great word called cryptomnesia, which describes a thought or idea that you have that's actually a resurrected memory that you don't remember as a memory. So I feel like maybe that's involved with that image. Oh, I probably cried like yesterday. Oh, I went to acting class yesterday for the first time in a long time. And there's a lot of crying that happened there. Usually I play Wordle. Otherwise I will drink water and meditate or write some thoughts down. I love watching movies, so oftentimes I'll watch a movie before going to bed. I, of course, brush my teeth. That's probably the last thing I do, actually. In terms of like world civilization, California is like the newest, right? And so there's something, I'm actually a third generation Californian. My dad was born and raised here in LA, and my grandfather, who was an actor, was also born and raised in California. And I have a lot of pride about that because it's so unusual. Yeah, there's something youthful and exciting about, you know, being a part of the frontier, you know what I mean? So I love that quality or sentiment. So when I met the Olsen twins, we discovered on set that we were both going to be attending the same junior high school. And so we overlapped for 1 year in 8th grade, and that was like astounding to me. And just the craziest coincidence. Like we were like, are you serious? Like that's crazy. And I'm actually wearing clothing made by The Row, which is their brand. So crazy full circle. There was a scene that we filmed that didn't make it into the movie where my character kisses Mariah Carey's character. So like, yeah, that happened and that's crazy. So I remember that. And no one will believe me probably, you know, because it's not in it, so. It's crazy. So my manager's here and I remember getting the call from him. I was sitting in a bar in New York drinking a Negroni with my buddy Mark, and Steven calls me and he's like, hey man, Clooney wants you. And I was like, what? Like that was so mind-blowing to me. And I was in disbelief. I was hugely flattered. It was just like a whirlwind of emotions. And it was such a lovely experience too. Meeting with, you know, George Clooney and being directed by him was such a gift and such a joy. I wasn't super familiar, surprisingly, because I'm a big science fiction fan. And I realized it's probably because I was like 3, 4, 5, 6 when the Next Generation television show was airing. It deals with some really big abstract concepts of existentialism and infinity, and these thoughts and ideas were really frightening to me as a child. I remember like watching it and being kind of like spooked out by it. So I stuck to, I believe the order was Smurfs, Scooby-Doo, and MacGyver. Oh my gosh. So I was on the corner near my old apartment, and I got a text from Orly Sidowitz, one of the casting directors, that said, "Welcome aboard, Mr. Spock." And I like sat down, shed some tears of joy, and then was like flooded with terror. Like, how am I gonna live up to this character, to the expectations of the fans? Am I worthy of this? It was just such a massive moment. Yeah, I guess I started watching Discovery, which is the show that my Spock first appeared on. I was reading the scripts for the episodes that they were filming, and I started spending a lot of time with Leonard Nimoy in the original series. And was also working to understand why I had been chosen, because when I auditioned for it, I didn't know what role it was. And so something in me sort of lent itself to this character, and I didn't understand what that was in the moment. So I had to kind of go on that journey of discovery. Probably walking onto the Enterprise for the first time. Anson Mount, who plays Captain Pike, during lunch one day was like, "Did you know they're building the Enterprise?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Let's go check it out." And so we went together and saw it. And that was really, that stands out. They shave the tips off to about here, and they add the rest with like a little prosthetic. Obviously they flat iron my hair into the very beautiful bowl cut, and they add the pointy ears, and the whole process takes about 2 hours. Actually, I have a Canadian ID with my eyebrows shaved off, which is really funny. Oh, I mean, I might have it. It's a dream role I never knew was a dream role until I had it, because I just didn't even think it was in the realm of possibility. It'd be great to be, I mean, I grew up loving comic books and cartoons, and it'd be really cool to be a superhero in one of these universes. I kind of, like Spock is sort of a superhero to me, but not in like the classical sense of the term. So that might be something really fun to do. I do believe in love at first sight, but I also feel like it's problematic. Like, I feel like if you fall in love at first sight, like your shit is like being set off by someone else's shit, and it's like your trauma from a kid. So I kind of do. I mean, that's like a really like overwrought psychological perspective on it. But I believe that you can be taken by someone's beauty. I think to really fall in love with someone, it takes time and a lot of understanding and self-reflection. That's where I'm at with it anyways. A soulmate might be, this is something I'm trying to understand for myself actually at the moment. A soulmate might be someone that you can be independent from, that is only additive to your life, someone you admire and can learn from, someone with a different perspective from you, and yet has enough in common with you that you don't feel. I think I've been in relationships where I felt quite alienated because I discovered they were so different. So it's nice to have some overlap philosophically. Yeah, but I'm still trying to understand that myself. I would say the original is Rachel Weisz from The Mummy. She was, and remains, one of my celebrity crushes. Javier Bardem's performance, Anton, in No Country for Old Men. What's a Chris?
Yeah.
What's that mean? A favorite Chris? I mean, they're all great. Chris Evans? I don't know, they're all awesome. Wait, I changed my answer. It's Chris Pine. They're all really talented though, my gosh, but gotta look out for Star Trek. That was fun and interesting, I hope for you too. Thanks for having me, InStyle. I hope you have a wonderful day.